So, I published a book. It's called Oneindigheid, which is the Dutch word for infinity. And then the subtitle is Een filosofische gids, a philosophical guide. So this book is meant for, let's say, the general public, people who are interested in philosophy but don't necessarily have a background in philosophy. And it talks about the philosophy of infinity. That's a very broad thing, the philosophy of infinity, and that's exactly why I really loved writing a book about it. I get to talk about Zeno's paradoxes, about Aristotle and his idea of the potentially infinite. I get to talk about the infinity of space and time. I talk about Blanqui, who believes that there are infinite copies of us in infinite space. I get to talk about Nietzsche, who thinks that there's eternal recurrence. I get to talk about immortality and whether we should want that, whether it's even possible for us to, let's say, be happy forever, for instance. I get to explain the mathematics of infinity, at least a little bit. So I talk about things like the infinite numbers, infinite cardinals, infinite ordinals. I explain what that is. I show that there are multiple types of infinity in mathematics. And then I get to talk about Wittgenstein and his philosophy of mathematics and how he tries to sort of deflate the mathematical concept of infinity and sort of bring it back to our very finite practices. And in the end, I get to write a chapter with my own interpretation of Kant. And I read Kant as somebody whose main idea really is to argue that we as finite beings are subject only to our own finite standards. But those finite standards have a kind of infinite shape. That is, they have the shape of potential infinity in always pointing beyond themselves. Right? Whenever we answer a question, it raises new questions. Whenever we reach a conclusion, it forces us to more thinking. And the world itself, according to Kant, has to have this same structure. Right? We live in a world where every event has a cause, and that cause has a further cause. Where every part of space has a further part of space beyond it, and a further part of space beyond that, and so on and so forth. And so I get to tie together all these strands in the philosophical tradition of thinking about finitude and infinity into what I think is a very, I hope, inspiring book, certainly an engaging book, and one that really shows people how interesting, how relevant, and how rich the philosophical tradition is. As I said, it's in Dutch. It's been published by Boom, a well-known Dutch publisher. It's in the bookshops since a couple of days ago. So if you read Dutch, I can recommend it. I mean, go and get it. If you don't read Dutch, well, there are no plans for a translation right now. I don't actually know how often it happens that Dutch philosophy books get translated into other languages, but let's hope that it becomes a really giant success and that I'll have more news about that a couple of years from now. For now, I'm really happy with how the book turned out. I'm also really happy with the cover. I really like it. It's like the blue is so blue. I love it. And I hope that people will read it and like it and get inspired. Thanks.